and welcome to another episode of Woke by Accident podcast. It is a weekly chat about socially conscious topics impacting the culture. On this episode, we are joined by Sambaza, host and creator of the Sambaza podcast. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Woke by Accident podcast, a weekly chat about socially conscious topics impacting the culture. Welcome. We are excited to have our co-host, Sambaza, host and creator of the Sambaza podcast, a remarkable figure in the podcasting world. Hailing from the Republic of Kenya, he has garnered 3 nominations for Best African Diasporan Podcast by the APBA, and also a nomination for Best Blog by the Texas Creator Awards. Since 2023, he has been a featured presenter at Afro's Audio Podcast Festival, and he participated at the 2025 Podfest. Welcome, Sambaza.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Thank you. How's it going?
Oh, great. Week is going okay. Everything is good. Yeah. How about you?
Good. Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to the episode. Ready for the weekend. Have some Girl Scout activities coming up. So looking forward to seeing the girls. We've kind of been on break. So we're getting back in the swing of things. And yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Can't wait for today's show. See the gear whatever I'm wearing right now.
Yeah, we're getting into some health journey talks and all of the things. So, we are excited about that.
By the way, we just got to let everybody know we are live on Clubhouse and on TikTok. Hey guys, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. This is Sambaza podcast, and we are going to have a very, very interesting episode today. Wow, I don't know what to say.
For sure. And so we're excited about the TikTok viewers. We may have to do an after show over on TikTok, and then we kind of dabbled our toe and tested it out, and it works pretty well. So I know people are really, getting into the TikTok live. So check us out over there and, follow our respective pages. We'll have to include that in the show notes that you guys can follow us on TikTok as well. And I have some of my reseller content over there. So if you want to support an independent entrepreneur podcaster, you can check out some clips and behind the scenes exclusive, goings ons with the reseller side business, side hustle. So yeah, check us out. We thank you guys for catching us either on the replay or on the YouTube. We're excited for sure.
All right, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Let me start off with the affirmation of the week. It's going to be simple, actually. This one is really nice. I like this. Being me is how I win. Simple as that. Just being me is how I win.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. That is very positive. We definitely want to continue the trend of sharing positive affirmations in this climate. We all can use some encouragement. So thank you for sharing that. And then before we introduce our topic, do you want to share an proverb for us?
Oh, that proverb. Okay, so this week I actually took a tour and went down to Botswana. Botswana, let me give you some fun facts about Botswana, Jen, if you are going to go over there. Botswana has the highest population of elephants in the world. There are approximately 415,000 elephants in Africa, and Botswana has 130,000 of them within the borders. Now, one of the several natural wonders of the world, of Africa, is in Botswana, not the world, Africa. This is the UNESCO-listed Okavango Delta, which is one of the world's largest inland deltas and a buzzing wildlife hub. Now, the reason why I said it, Disney World have something on that particular delta. It's really interesting. If you want to go watch it, take a chance. It's really, really nice. I've watched it. It's really cool. Now, this other one is about beef. If you're a fan of eating beef, Botswana has been known for producing some of the finest beef in the world, and it's exported to international markets all over the world. And I think they focus on that heavily. If you look at the history, if you go to the history of Botswana, they focus heavily on that. And I have a guy called Dr. Gideon, who is a
Mhm,
host of Swan Academy. That's a podcast, who I
mhm,
met just recently. And he lived there. And he said, look, if you eat beef from Botswana and you come and eat beef over here, nah, it doesn't
mhm.
relate. Yeah, it's
Okay.
better on that side. So he gave me that tip just this past weekend about it, and I'm like, okay, I was studying about Botswana, and this is what we got. So here's a proverb: beautiful words don't put porridge in a pot. I'll repeat that again: beautiful words don't put porridge in a pot.
Hmm. Okay, I have to think about that one. Thank you for sharing that information about Botswana and the proverb. Are you going to ask me?
No, I want you to go ahead and say what you think about the proverb, and which can you break it down, if you can break it down for us.
So, I think it's talking about like truth and honesty. It kind of makes me think about that. You know, people may think, oh, you have to say something nice, or it has to be, everything has to be great and wonderful to move things forward. But in reality, it just has to be honest. You should be honest and truthful about things, and that really doesn't match up, but that's my version of it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's not wrong. You're right. You have to be truthful in something, because if you're not, when you say what is bond, that's one of the things. Your actions should your words should also consummate to your actions. So whatever you say has to be put to to manifest. So if you're
Right.
gonna say, I'm gonna do this, and you don't, doesn't work. So you might, like these politicians, they say, "Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this," and then when they get there, nothing's happening. So that's what
Right.
I tell them. The beautiful words. I'm not going to put porridge in the pot.
Right.
That's
Action and intentional, like being intentional
exactly.
behind your. Yeah. Okay. I like that. Okay, I was close. I was pretty close.
You got it right. You got it right.
Okay. Cool. So
There's no
thank you for
wrong answer.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. So
Uh,
let's introduce our topic. So today we don't have a guest for you today. Shout out to the guests who have been on the show, but we wanted to get into a topic that is quite important. So we will share about our individual respective approaches to our health journey. All right. And so the theme is A1C and me, a health journey. So, we will share some information that we did a little bit of research on to bring before you. Um, and we're going to share about challenges and um, triumphs in restarting our own health journey and encouraging others to do the same. So, whether it's overcoming setbacks, finding motivation, embracing new routines, we will talk about all of that and related to your health journey and why that is important, specifically A1C matters and cardiovascular. So I invite you to join us while we talk about suggested tips, mindset shifts, and the importance of self compassion in the journey towards well being. All right. And then finding community and that can support you on your journey. So,
yeah, this is going to be an interesting topic. But first, let's go with the stats, because I think you start off with the stats, and then we'll be able to get round to it. Now, African Americans are nearly twice as likely as non-Hispanic whites to be diagnosed with diabetes.
mhm,
Obesity and cardiovascular disease remain the leading causes of death in our community. Now, 1 in 3 US adults are pre diabetic. Black adults are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes than their white counterparts.
mhm.
Only about 1 in 10 people with pre diabetes know that they have it. Wow, that
Yeah.
is that is telling.
This definitely hits home. I've had a lot of family members with these concerns, including, myself, that realizing I need to do something about this now. But so I'm gonna try to keep it together. But it's so important because it really can be turned around with lifestyle changes, diet, exercise, and we'll talk about some of the things that are ways to improve your health. It's just so important, and we've had conversations on this before. We want to continue this conversation, so here we are, continuing the conversation.
Yep. And we were going to talk. You were going to talk about the A1C, what the levels are, and how we look at it. All right, I'll do it. So
Okay.
when you go to a doctor, so this is what happens when you go to the doctor. You're told to fast, right? So you fast, and then I'm going to cut it short so that people can kind of catch on. So you're told to starve yourself from the night before for at least 8 hours. The only thing you can drink is water, or no, not even coffee. You can take coffee. Sometimes they tell you coffee, but coffee with no sugar, but a lot of water, a lot of water. So when you go do a test, they'll do a test. That's the A1C test for the hemoglobin test, which is A1C or HbA1c test, which measures your average blood glucose levels over the past 2 or 3 months. Now that covers your past 2 or 3 months. But there's another one that is just the one that is for you to starve overnight, like for the 8 hours or 20, not 24 hours, because usually they'll tell you to stop eating maybe by 8 o'clock, and then the next morning you go do your.
Hmm.
So they give you a time lapse. That's the other one, which is very critical as well. I don't know the terms. Remember, I'm not a doctor. This is just information that we get off the net, and and this is my experience of what I've been told, and I go by some books that I've read. I'll show you the books later. Now, this particular test, the A1C test, we'll call it the A1C test, not the HbA1, not the HbA1c test. We'll just use A1.
Hmm.
Now, that's the one that is normally used to get to know your A1C levels. So if normal is below 5.7%, 5.7,
Right.
pre-diabetic is 5.7 to 6.4, but they say less than 6.4. So if
Hmm.
you have 6.5 or higher, now you go over to become a diabetic. So they say for most adults with diabetic, A1C levels usually at 7, which is commonly a treatment. It's easy to bounce back from 7%. Well, I say easy depending on how you are going to do it and how your journey is. Everyone is different.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yes.
how do you manage your A1C, Jen?
Mm. So, this information comes from WebMD and some other sources we found online, Mayo Clinic, including some of the details. So, ways that you can manage your A1C: regular exercise, engaging in physical activity, will help your body to use insulin more efficiently, which can lower your blood glucose levels. So, not just losing weight, this actually impacts your A1C, which, we wanted to emphasize that because this is something that really is touching our community. And, obviously, a personal one is touch, a lot of family members' lives and things like that. And recently, me. So I'm definitely being more intentional about this and want to document it and share it for awareness for the community because we, as a community, or really Americans in general, need to improve all of these matters. So, exercise not just will trim your waistline, but also improve your blood glucose levels. So, it's suggested that you aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate exercise 5 times a week. And then another way to improve your A1C is eating healthy. It's suggestion for a focus on a balanced diet rich in fiber, grains, lean proteins, and non starchy vegetables. Um, Also, limiting sugary foods and refined carbohydrates. You shared a really good tool, an app.
Oh
You
yeah,
wanted to share that.
there are several apps, and these apps are apps that are there. They're available for free. We're not being paid for them, so they're not sponsoring us, but we would be happy if you sponsor us. This is My Fitness Pal, and also there is My Carb Manager. Now,
Right.
what you do with these apps, they are very, very helpful. But when I compare, this is my opinion. When I compare, I'd go for Carb Manager than when I'd go to My Fitness Pal. My Fitness Pal would have a problem with the conversion of what you eat.
Oh.
Yeah, so you have the Carb Manager is great. So what you do is you go put in what you eat, and it has a whole bunch of stuff that goes in there, and also you can scan it with your phone, and it'll give you what is in there. Then it tells you how much you're going to eat. Now, one thing about this is it makes you feel bad because of what you have to eat, and you have to stay within those levels.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I said, we're not doctors, but this is what we're just gonna give you of our experiences.
Right.
It makes you feel bad that you go over just a little bit in a day. Like for example, your starch. It tells you your starch levels or your carb levels. You're over. If you go over,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's not that bad. It's okay. You can go over just a little bit, but you look at it like, okay, today I might go over, tomorrow I might be low. At the end of the week,
Mm-hmm.
if you manage to stay within the levels, then you're fine.
Okay.
So the app actually tells you to do that, and then you can also plan your meals. I remember there was a point in time where I used to use My Fitness Pal so much, not My Fitness Pal, but uh, My Fitness app, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it was so much to wear, but when I would go to a restaurant, before I go, I look at the menu and then look at how much calories it has, and
That's smart.
that was kind of, it was too intense at that time. But I changed up, and after a while, you kind of know how to count your calories and know how much to eat.
Mm.
Another thing, if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic and you want to get around it, there's a plate that you can buy, which you can buy from Amazon. Shout out
I
to
need to get that. I need to get that.
shows you the portions of what to eat. There's a portion for your starch, there's a portion for your veggies, and then there's a bigger portion for your lean meat, your protein, and what have you. So if you manage to stay around that those boundaries, you will be able to get your levels lower, and it's possible. People have done that. I've known people to go up and be cross over and then get back. Now, one thing
When
is
you say crossover,
over the mark where they declare you you're diabetic. Now once you
correct.
get, now once you get to be diabetic, you'll always be a diabetic once you pass over that number. So you have to stay back below the 6.76, no, below 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
If you stay below 6.5 all through, you'll always be pre-diabetic. Once you get up past that, even if you go down, you'll be diabetic. But one thing about that, it's reversible. You can always go down
Absolutely.
and you'll be fine. The only thing I think in medical terms, when they ask you, when they look at your charts, they'll always refer you as being diabetic for the fact that you were once over.
Right.
It's kind of
Right.
like if you have a heart attack. It's something that's like a blip in your medical chart, but
Mm-hmm.
it's possible. It's very very possible.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm claiming in the name of Jesus. Okay. That we are going to reverse this thing. I have been on the pre for so long. Okay, I'm pre. I ain't got it. I ain't got it. I ain't got it. I'm okay. I'm okay. Oh, bam. You know what I mean? And just like that. So, but I am really just made a declaration that is on the internet forever that I'm changing this. So, and you're a witness, and you have the point was that you suggested the app, and so I signed up for the app, Carb Manager, based on your suggestion, and so I have been logging my things, my activity, my water, which I need to improve. And I wanted to connect with you on there, and actually there's a Facebook community which I invited myself to. Hopefully they accept me.
You have a carb manager Facebook.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
great! I probably should
Yeah,
join.
that's why I was like, okay, we've got to be friends on here. And then I was like clicking on community and it popped up. So, maybe I'll send you an invite for that. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, oh, it's great to have this. And then one other thing is, on my part, I did practice keto. So you
Hmm.
have the keto diet where it's more protein, less carbs. That kind of not kind of that helped a lot. I'll just give you my experience. In the morning, I would have 4 eggs,
Hmm.
a cup of strawberries, cut strawberries, and uh, blueberries, and that was
Hmm.
it. That's for breakfast, and that would be good to survive, to make me survive until the evening time when I would eat again protein, and
Mhm.
it worked. It works. I am going to say I I was on the diabetic spectrum, and then I worked my way out, and I'm down.
Okay,
Um,
before you give your good results, because you've actually had some great
no,
results.
no, 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 no. This is just a tidbit of what's going on.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, yeah.
remember we talked about the way they call it the starving range or something. I'd have to go and get the technical part. Look,
Mhm.
Google is your best friend. Go look at it. It'll help you so much. WebMD. But again, on the internet, I don't like to tell people to go to the internet and search. So you can search that particular term, but I would suggest you go see your doctor or your a health worker that'll be able to tell you, and they train you for that. And we got more stuff coming on that.
So you mean like a fast, right?
It's a fast.
Okay.
So now, when we're doing the fast, look at it like this. And I think we had this conversation with you. Imagine there's a fire station, right? And I'm just trying to figure out that that's the easiest I can explain. We've been having fires here, and I know. Okay. Can I use something else? Let me see. Let me use a fire station. A fire station. Let's just use
Okay.
a fire station, and
Okay.
they have an emergency that they have to go out on. Okay. So this fireman, five fireman crew are in a gas station, not a gas station, in a fire station in the morning. They get the alarm at 6 o'clock, right? They rush out. They clear out the fire. They come back.
Mhm.
1 hour later, they're called again for another fire. They go out again. They come back. 2 hours
Mhm.
later, they call for another major one. They go. They come back again. So if they have it going every 2, 3, 4, 5 hours until the evening time, they get worn out. By the time the shift is over, they'll be so tired with all these emergencies that they have to run. Now, look at it as your body when you put in food. So when you're eating the food, your insulin, it's the insulin that is calling, that is taking care of this. So now when you eat, you're striking, the insulin strikes up. So that's what you're doing. You're
Mhm.
sending those signals. The body sends the signals to for insulin. So if your bodies keep sending that insulin, it gets tired after a while. So that's why you are asked to starve, so they can check and see the time it takes you to starve your what do you call it, your body, before you give
Mhm.
it the next meal. So
Okay.
this is where it helps you out, maintain your insulin levels. That's basically the number one thing, and which a lot of people don't understand.
For sure. It's a lot to understand. So back to that
Mhm.
list of ways to manage the A1C. We started off with regular exercise, which can actually lower your glucose levels. So really key on that. Healthy eating. Okay. On to medication. So
Right.
with the advice of a doctor, they may prescribe you something that may work for you. So, and those items could possibly manage your blood sugar levels. So, any the other one is stress management. Chronic stress can actually raise your blood pressure, or not blood pressure, or in addition to your blood pressure, it can raise your blood sugar levels. So you want to manage your stress and, avoid chronic stress. They offer mindfulness, meditation, regular relaxation as, addressing the stress piece. And then the last piece was consistent monitoring. So, regularly checking the blood glucose levels to understand, your need for medication, if that is what you have been suggested by your doctor, or your lifestyle. So,
Yeah, so you have to look at all these, and in your normal day, you wake up in the morning, you plan your meals, do stuff.
mhm,
It's one long journey that you take, and it's a lifelong journey because
right.
your body. One is your body changes. Remember, when you're young, you could eat a lot. When you're 16, oh my God, you could eat so much, and things, you don't know where it goes to. But as you grow older, your
Mhm,
metabolism slows down, and that's where the problem comes in.
right.
So yeah, you can't eat the way you eat like you were younger. So you have to make good choices. Some of the things that I think in our families, um, some of the things that we eat are what are the hindrance in terms of
Mhm.
the fatty foods, fried foods, and
Mhm.
all that. We need to change the way we eat our food, what kind of options we have.
Mhm.
Remember when we had the guy from Gardening and Beats?
Yes, I was just thinking about him.
Yeah, I forgot his
Kamani,
Kimani.
Kamani
Yes,
Aku.
yes, Kimani Aku. Kimani Aku, you want to follow him because Gardening and Beats, that's his
Absolutely.
Instagram page, and he talks about how he changed. Remember, he changed the way he was. He used to be big, we're talking big in size, and then he
Mhm.
changed the way he thought. The stress was there, and
Yeah.
then he started eating food, natural foods, and he became healthier just eating raw food.
Right. And it's just like a shift, not just a shift in the activity, but like a mind shift of like, nope, I'm not doing that anymore. Okay, I got to make a change. Like it really kind of starts from the mind on down. Yeah.
Right. The problem that the one hindrance that we have is the food deserts. The food desert
Hmm.
issue is what is a major thing that tends to affect so much of the black community when
Hmm.
it comes to food. If we had options like the Whole Foods and Sprouts or any other stores that you can name that are close by that have healthy foods, and they insist on the healthy foods, I think
Right.
that will make us be more healthier and live longer. Plus, of course, that will stop us, having to rush to for Medicaid and the healthcare
Hmm.
benefits that come with that. We won't be spending more time in the hospital and live longer. And it's all a circle.
It
It comes
is.
back to us. Yeah.
It really
So
is.
yeah, at this point, I think we wanna go and share your story now. How is it going?
So, what I will share is that I, really have kind of struggled with obesity and weight issues, like, the majority of, or a good, portion of the time, but it's just really manifested itself in a larger way at the big grown age, that we are now. And, it's just like before it was manageable, like, just coasting by, like I thought it was okay. I had a little activity that I kind of just, I was just managing, but really have always struggled with obesity because it's just something, in my family, a lot of people in the family. But as you see people decline and die, from cardiovascular, related, obesity related, all of these health things as you get older, it just really starts to hit home. And, that circle starts, closing up, and it's, becomes more real. And so, really real. So, recent doctor visit kind of just really brought it home, which I really I don't know why that was the key, eye opening thing. Because, like I said, these things have always been present in my life, but I just always thought I had it under control. I can, I'll be good. It's okay. But no, it's not okay. I got to really address this. But the thing is that, I'm not out here alone. A lot of people are going through the journey, too. So I just have to, find a way to stay at it and be successful this time. So I'm more committed to doing it.
Oh, I'm sure you'll make it. Remember, it's just a mindset thing. You just have to focus on it. Remember, I think the one thing that I did to myself is, and I had to get a dietitian on my end, and don't beat yourself up. So let
Right.
me go with mine, how it started. So same thing. Have a problem with it. Struggling with weight.
Mhm.
Actually, not even struggling with weight. Weight was not a problem. The problem was just the pre-diabetic and what have you. So the doctor told me I was
Mhm.
pre-diabetic, and then I got prescribed for medicine, metformin. Metformin is what they usually give you. Well, I took it for a while. Then one day I just said, no, 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 I'm not doing it. It's too much time doing it. And just for health reasons. I don't want to keep taking so many pills. I just told the doctor, look, I'm going to do this one time. So I think this time I went and they said, no, you are at a 6.5, 6.5. And I was like, dang, now I already moved over. So I was like, you know what? I'll work on it. And I started working on it. So, well, I'm still working on it. Um, Breakfast had to change. Like I said, I was keto. I had to go back. I had to do keto diet. I stopped eating the breads. You have to go eat special bread. The
Mm-hmm.
one thing about this is it's more like you just have to change your lifestyle and eat different, right?
Right.
Um, if you do it right, you will not have a problem, and your mindset has to be there. You have to get your mindset ready.
Right.
Exercise is one of the things I run. I run half marathons. I run 5Ks. So
Mm-hmm.
imagine I do all that and still I'm struggling with being diabetic. So
Wow.
I I decided, hey, look, I'm going to change it. So did everything right, eat protein, watch how I eat, drink lots of water, exercise,
You
and I was
don't drink?
I know I drink lots of water. I drink lots of water.
I mean, alcohol.
I don't drink, so I don't drink. I don't smoke. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, don't drink. I don't smoke. So all that. Um, in addition to that, I exercise every morning in the gym. I'll spend an hour and some minutes, an hour and at least
That's
20 minutes in
good.
the gym every single day in the morning. And then on the weekends, I'm always refing. So I'll go ref from like say 8 in the morning. I won't come back till 5 or 6. So
Mhm.
imagine all that time, and I'm still having to struggle with it. So remember, it's not something to do with all that activity. You can have all the activity, but you have to be careful. And this, by the way, we're talking about type 2 diabetics. We're
Right.
type 2, not type 1. Type 1 is which you're born with. That one you have no control over it.
Mm-hmm.
Type 2 is the one where you actually you gain it. So learning, you go through the whole process, and I had to learn about it. The one thing that I did find that was successful, and these are promos, that book here, this is what my doctor told me
Mm.
to read. Yeah, Jen, you want to read this. The reason
Okay.
why you read this is because it tells you how diabetic, we'll put this in the show notes, how diabetes started. Okay, here for the guys who are on TikTok. How you are, how it all started, how,
Mm-hmm.
and explains pretty much everything, and then you understand not the medicine. It's not the medicine that cures. It's you curing yourself on that.
Okay.
Another thing that has helped is this one. Now this is in Swahili. It's I found it online. This guy, for those guys who are from Kenya and want to know about this, that is the book.
What's
And
the title?
it's called Kitabu cha Sukari. So it says the sugar book. That's Sukari is sugar. Kitabu is
Oh.
book. So sugar book. Well, this doctor in Kenya, he also realizes it's the same. They all have the same concept, but
Mm-hmm.
he was giving people the stories. He wrote the book, or he had a pamphlet about
Mm-hmm.
it. So everyone who used to come to his place would tell him, "Oh, can I have that sugar book in Swahili? Nataka kile kitabu cha sukari. Nataka kile kitabu cha sukari." That's how you say it in Swahili. So each time they would say that, then he decided, you know what, I might as well just name the book that. So that's how the name came through. And it's a very oh, just to show you. So it has pictures.
Oh.
To make it easier, this is for the people in Kenya, to kind of make it easier for them to understand. So when you have your meal
It's
in the morning,
recipes or what?
no, it tells. So what it'll tell you is, for example, how much meat you eat. If it like this is goat stir fried, right? So that's goat stir fried. It tells you. So if you're gonna have goat stir fried, that's how much it's going to be, right?
Okay.
Mm, Here. So you plan your meal and say, okay, if I'm gonna eat goat, this is how much I'm gonna eat. How many? So like for example, You eat 70 grams of chapati, it's 6 teaspoons, and then it calculates everything for you. So by the time you're going to eat, you say, okay, this is my meal. If I ate
Mm-hmm.
chapati in the morning, this is how much I have, and then you kind of calculate for the rest of the day, and you know where you lay within your parameters. So you can
Okay.
comfortably do that. That's a nice book. I do recommend it for my folks back there.
So
But
if for clarity, if you for other people who may be from Africa and they want to enjoy their traditional cuisine and such, right?
or even here, you
Okay.
can actually use it here. The only problem is the calibration is different. This is British system, and
Okay.
yeah, that the only, we do pounds, they do kilograms, so that's where the problem will come in. However, if you know the ranges and you can change and switch up the ranges, you'll probably be able to tell what you can eat and what you cannot eat.
Okay.
And yeah.
And show the other book that you had,
Oh, this is the other one that says the diabetes code.
The Diabetes Code by Jason,
Right, right.
Dr. Jason Fung. Okay.
Yes, that's the
So,
one.
okay.
So these two books have actually helped out a lot in understanding the how to work with diabetes. But remember, the most important thing is the fasting.
Hmm.
So fasting is also one of the most important things. How you fast and how you eat. Try and avoid eating in between, like your snacks. Those snacks. When you eat a snack, remember, ding 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 ding. There's a fire. It runs out. So imagine
Hmm.
if you started in the if you ate in the morning your breakfast and then you didn't eat until lunchtime, maybe your lunch is at 2 o'clock. That's already a time your body has rested before you start giving it some movement, or start getting excited, you know
Right.
and then you don't eat again until 6 o'clock. Nothing in between. You don't get it excited.
Hmm.
Also, it takes 1 year actually. So from what I was told by my doctor, and this is my doctor, not your doctor, not your doctor, not your doctor. My doctor told me at least in a year's time, if you go with the same amount of practice, like you eat your
Hmm.
meals regularly at a certain time, you will be able to control it, and minus the snacks. So the longer you stay, like you fast well. Yeah. Now, that remember the fasting you're told to fast the night before, and then you come and test the next morning. Now
Hmm.
that's where they'll get the results and say, okay, your fasting rate is great, and that is what is most important, because that shows that your body is resting from the time you eat at 6 o'clock, or whatever time it is, maybe at 8 o'clock, till
Hmm.
noon when you eat. Or if you're going to be eating 2 meals a day or 1 meal a day, whatever you're spacing it out, that time your body is cooling, or is your your body's at rest and
Right.
not being
Hibernating.
hibernating, not being made to.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's why sometimes the doctors will tell you to go ahead and go on a keto diet, eat 1 meal a day or stuff like
Hmm.
that, or whichever they'll tell you. But those are some of the things that have helped me so far, and
And then
I.
also, along those lines, also share you've had a quite successful weight loss journey, also because we've seen you, or, you know, I want to say,
Oh
like, when
yeah,
you first came on the show as a guest, you look different physically. And so, share about your weight loss.
yeah. So that the highest I was, I think I was at above 230, and by the time I was working on, I was down to almost 200, below 200, and I was at 200. I was at 190, and that's slender. Some of the clothes that I can't even wear, some of the clothes now. But
I mean, you didn't have to drop
remember,
those numbers. You could have just gave us, a
no, it's
general
okay. No, no, no.
number. Or,
I'm good. I'll give you the numbers. Now, I've gone back up, but I'm still
okay.
working to go back to where I was. I think if I go back to 190, I should be at a good healthy rate. My recommendation was that I stay under 200. I'm over
Hmm.
200, slightly over 200, but I will be back there again. It's just again, I it's a journey. What I tell people: don't ever get demoralized.
Hmm.
Just
So
stick
you
to the.
still kept off like 30, 40, so almost
Yeah,
a 50 pound.
Right.
loss.
Right.
Okay, that's
So
good.
just keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. It's something that you just have to go on.
Mhm,
I think for me, when it comes to Christmas time, that is
mhm.
the dangerous time because you have Thanksgiving, you have Christmas. Oh no, 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 Halloween. Remember Halloween? Then
What about Halloween?
hey, them cookies, Halloween sweets. Yeah,
Oh
Halloween, and
gosh.
then you go from
Oh,
Halloween,
you
you go
talking about candy?
candy. Yep,
No,
candy, and
can
Halloween,
mm-mm.
and the party started that time too. That's the festive season.
Mm,
Yeah. Then Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year. Then right after Christmas, New Year, then you have whatever Valentine's Day. So all these things are happening. I mean, all these things are happening right around the same time. I think that's the most. I think that's where a lot of people fall off. Not
mm,
not any from January, on and on. You'll be fine, but right there, that is your critical point.
holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a mindset thing. I mean, in my head, I tell myself like the Halloween candy is like for kids, and so ain't no kids around here, so we can keep it. Or so I'm going to tell myself, that I should be able to make it through Halloween, in one piece. You want to acknowledge the chat for a bit?
Oh yeah. We got guys in the chat. Welcome to the chat, guys on the TikTok live. Welcome. Thank you for hanging out with us, and also the ones who are on Clubhouse. Thank you for hanging in there. All right. We got Ed Campbell who's around today.
Hey.
Welcome, peace family. And it says most of us suffer from a lack of quality rest due to the
Mm,
fact that our bodies are not resting because of digesting. That is very,
that's
very important.
yes.
Right.
You just talked about that.
Now that we've gotten to this big old age of ours, you gotta eat like the seniors. People laugh at the seniors that they eat at 6 o'clock and they get their discounts and what have you.
Mhm.
It does help them because if you eat at 6 o'clock and your body gets time to digest your food all the way till maybe 10, right?
Mhm.
And then we go to bed. By that time, it's already digested. You're okay. But imagine if you just eat and then go to sleep. That's not a good thing.
Mhm.
Plus,
Mhm.
very very important. So you got to get your 8 hours in as much as you can.
Right. Definitely. I'm working on that. Working on
Uh,
that.
yeah, that side hustle of yours, that side hustle of
You know
yours.
what? I can't even blame it on that. Sometimes I just it's the doggy and you know
Yeah, I
I
know.
don't know.
And, and then Jen, I think also around your peers at work, uh, just like you have, like the parties at work, like these potlucks and stuff like that, and people bringing in stuff. I
Oh yeah.
be careful about that, like donuts in the morning or stuff like that. You
Oh
gotta be very,
god.
very careful with that because that's
Yeah.
where you start falling off. I mean, and it's okay. You can actually, you can really have a donut, but remember, if you have that donut at 8 o'clock in the morning, that means your lunch is screwed. You can't have your lunch. You probably may have to have something small for lunch and then kind of weigh it all out because that's a lot of sugar you're putting in your body. But still,
Mhm.
if you can avoid it, just avoid it. If you have like, okay, my dietitian used to say this: if you have a donut in the morning for one day, maybe it was beginning of January, you had one. That's fine,
Mhm.
but don't make it a habit because when you become,
Right.
then that's when it becomes dangerous, and then now you start falling off the bandwagon.
Right. I just want to share that, people coming around your desk at work is so you in the well when you go back to the office if you do, but and in my mind I'm like, okay, some lady's coming around with something. If I don't take it, I'll be rude. So I'll be like, because most people be like, oh, I don't wanna and so
You
I'll be like, oh, I'll take one.
you take one and then put it on on the side just to make, and
See,
this is bad.
and that's what I've been
Take
doing
one,
lately. I
no, no, no,
take one and I just wrap it up and I just put it to the side, like, okay, can
throw it
I
away, and then throw it away, throw it away, or give it to somebody else. If you
yeah.
can give it to somebody else, if you're tempted to eat it, throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not tempted to eat it, just keep it away.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so your community should be able to understand you, and not to offer you stuff like that. They know that you're working through something. Tell them, hey, look, I'm trying to lose some weight. Please don't do that. And
Well,
some people be like, oh no, just
well, I
no,
don't
no,
want
no, no.
anybody to know, so I
No, no,
just,
no. Just tell them you're trying to work. You're trying to work out. Tell them you're on this fitness
I don't
journey.
even want
Tell
them
them
to
you,
know that.
you,
I don't share like that at work. Maybe I should, but you know,
tell them you're on a fitness
it's
journey
not
and you're
always a
trying to
safe
avoid.
environment. It's not always a safe environment.
But if you say you're on a fitness journey, they understand that you're on a fitness journey. You ain't saying much. You just told them, look, I'm trying to avoid eating sweets during the office. So if you don't mind bringing me, if you don't mind, if you're having something like that, yeah, I won't want to participate in that, eating stuff like that. Or yeah,
That's true. That's a truthful way to approach it. I have to work on that. But
yep.
yeah.
And work. And when we talk about the community health and why it matters, I think also you need to look around your community. I found another community here in Dallas. You see now, this is WOTG. This one here, that one, right?
That's
So
giving.
that's what I'm wearing today. They're called Wheels of Giving. Now, Wheels of Giving, this is actually a really cool thing that they do here in Dallas. I don't know if it gets in your local area, but what they do is they teach you about your health. They
Mhm.
have clinics once in a while. They'll show up in some sorry about that. They'll show up in BMW Marathon. That's how I met them. They were they were participants there. They had an exhibit there, and
Like
they'll
a
give
bicycle wheel, because it's like a bicycle, right?
bicycle wheel. So they are a nonprofit, and what they do
Okay.
is they're encouraging people in the inner city areas to exercise, and they understand about the A1C. So they'll give you shirts, they'll give you I think I had a Garmin watch. I got one from them,
Hmm.
and they offer shoes. So you go, you register, you go there. They give you a pair of shoes for walking. So they they help the community to these small things, like, okay, t-shirt, hat, shoes. Shoes are most important, and real good shoes. And they encourage you to go out and do some running, and they give you a
Oh,
chart.
nice.
Actually, when you go there, they'll give you a chart. If you want to test your A1C, they'll test you over there
Mhm.
and give you your results right there. And then they have nurses. So they do this. I think I've been to three of them. I've even started volunteering for them because now I
Nice.
understand about the health. And I said, okay, you know what? Let me volunteer. And anytime they come around, I will give up my time because it's for a good cause. And I understand it. So,
Absolutely. That's
yeah.
awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And that kind of ties in with our next segment, which is about community.
Right.
So,
I think we talked
yeah.
about that. So yeah, and I think the other thing is you have to get encouragement. Friends and
Mhm,
family have to
mhm,
encourage
mhm,
you with this. Um, I think the most I really need encouragement. I'm going to be like Jared Butler, like the way he says, "Listen, listen here." I need encouragement from the people around me because
mhm,
it is a journey, and there's some type of you're scared. You're really
mhm,
scared of going back, like gaining your weight back. And this
mhm,
happens to a lot of people when you have like when you have the surgery and what have you.
mhm,
um because it's something that, like you've seen those like 600-pound journeys, somebody losing all the weight, and then after
mhm.
a while they kind of gain it back. Yeah. That there's always that fear, and that fear
Mhm.
is really bad, because remember, that's stress. So it's not helping you at all.
Absolutely.
When you are trying to lose weight, you're having this. You wake up in the morning, you're like, man, I gotta go back to that. I gotta go back
Mhm.
again. So there's a lot of support that you need from your fellow friends, coworkers, and anybody else who's around you, especially your family. To be your cheerleaders and tell you,
To be
what, you're doing.
successful. Absolutely.
When it comes to food choices, help out somebody, because if you are uh, if I'm gonna be eating what is it called, asparagus, and asparagus and sprouts, Brussels sprouts over here, and steamed vegetables, and you over there having ice cream right in front of my face, having ice cream and you know beef, well, fried foods, fried chicken and
Mhm.
stuff. That kind of messes up your psyche as well, because
It
now
does.
you are getting tempted being around the people who are not for you. So
Right.
need that support all the time. And people also, like if it's doing your spouse or your
Mhm.
girlfriend, whoever it is around you, says, okay, you know what, since you're doing this, let's do it together. you know
Right.
um, that helps a lot.
No, that's good. And it made me think about when we had a prior show, one of our shows collaborations with the
Mhm.
young lady who was what was she? Fitness coach. And
Oh
we
yeah.
had,
Flo.
yes, Miss Flo.
Yeah, Miss
What
Flo.
was her name?
Flo. But she called herself Fitness with Flo. That was her
Was it
company for
Flo
her.
Jenkins? Flo Join? I'm thinking.
Not Florence Joy.
R.I.P. Flo Shorter.
Flo. Yeah.
Yeah, Flo, Miss Flo, who was on the show. We had to
Right.
pin that episode. We had a good conversation about like that trope. Growing up, eat everything off your plate. You better eat everything on your plate. You know what I mean? And we tell kids like, oh, you better eat all that food on your, and like, why? And she said, like, the kid may be full, you know what I mean? And like, why do or is kids starving in Africa? You know what I mean? Like, they're still going to be starving if you don't. So I think that mindset of, and I know sometimes, I'm trying to think, did my parents really say that to me? It was just more like food was, a reward type of thing. Oh, you did good. We gonna go to McDonald's and get a sundae, or oh, we get your favorite thing, and that favorite thing was food. So it's kind of like a negative relationship, and some people just don't know any better. Some of these are what we call Dr. DeGrew, these things from slavery, post traumatic things from slavery, that these coping mechanisms, but it's not, we don't know any better. So, but now we have to do better. But, so like all these negative relationships with food have just kind of built.
I'll tell you one thing that Africans will get you. This is spoken in African circles, and I think it also works in uh, in everybody else. When you get married and you're an African, and you go to your in-laws, back to your in-laws, maybe after 3 or 4 months or 6 months after you're married, two
Mm-hmm.
things they'll ask you is, when are we going to have the baby?
Okay.
And then they look at your tummy, they see how big you are. If you're big, you're like, oh, see, your wife is feeding you, you look so good. That has a bad thing, because if you go and you're thin, they're like, oh, what's wrong, your wife is starving you. You got to look big, you
Oh,
got to be bigger. And I'm just like, why do you have to do this? But it's like a cultural thing, that we tend to feel that, okay, if I get married, then I have to come up with a tummy, I have to look fat and slobby.
but you know what? That whole fat, that word, I hate that word. But and it was a show that used to come on. It was like the number one detective
Of
agency
course,
in
the number one
Africa.
detective.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm talking about? Okay,
remember.
if you used to work, they had Jill Scott on there,
Oh,
right?
yes. Oh, that's
And
my favorite show. Oh,
okay,
man.
okay, so peep this. So on that show, it used to irk my soul that they would say or make reference to fat. Like almost every episode, it was just like in their lingo, like they're in, like it, like, oh, you looking fat, or you're not fat, or it's like it just come up all the time.
But you see, for them, and being on the African perspective, being fat is not an insult. It is good. Thick
It
is good.
means like,
Like,
well, no, it's like
thick is
you're
good. Yeah.
living well because you're fat, right?
Oh,
Like you're
Jill Scott.
living.
Like, they were looking at Jill Scott like, ooh, yeah, yeah. Maramutsi. That's what they used to call her. Maramutsi.
I don't like that though. I don't like that. I don't like that.
See, now that's where the difference in
Mm.
cultures, yeah, they would they see it as a woman. If you ever look at in history, I mean, if you go back in history, you look at the African woman is not portrayed as the thin, like coke shape. No, an African woman is always voluptuous, you know,
Okay. All
and
right.
they don't. Yeah, you hardly ever see it. Depending on now, it depends on the regions that they are, right? Most of the regions you'll see the African woman depicted as, but when I think in the Nilotic that's when you go through the Rift Valley. uh,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a lot. The Rift Valley, that you have slender women. The Maasai have slender women. They don't have.
Oh
It's
God.
really hardly to have women who are voluptuous. Some, but it's odd.
Okay.
It's odd shape, right? But when you go to these other regions, oh no, you gotta have a
Okay.
big behind, big body. That's now the African woman, and
Hmm.
it's most of the African countries will show you that. So with Jill Scott, the number one detective, yes, Botswana.
That was in Botswana, wasn't it? That's
Yes,
funny.
yeah,
I don't know why I thought about that. But when you said that, I was like, oh my God, that's what they would be saying on that show. But
yeah,
like you said, it's a cultural thing. So,
yes.
okay. So we talked about community, kind of wrapping this up. And okay, I think you're next.
I think we're gonna talk about the pieces of advice I'd give somebody. I think you want to start where you are, and at least you have a reference point. My thing is, I look at myself and say, I started off at this particular weight, and I'm gonna go to my goal of this weight. Actually, there's an app I found out this, but this, there's an app, Jen. Will log in. I can't remember what it is, but they actually pay you for working out. The most you'll get is at least $20 a year, but it
Mm-hmm.
adds up. So each time you work out, it adds up, and then you get some money out of it. We'll pin it here on the chat, on the show notes, so you can catch up on it. And then there's another app I saw. You make a bet, so you'll say I want to lose 100 pounds, and then
Mm-hmm.
you calculate how many it is going to be for up to the end of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you put in money. You say I'm going to put $1,000. So then they charge you from your card, your credit card, $1,000.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
they charge you per month. Hey, you need your $1,000.
You saying get it back or what?
Get it back. You're gonna get it back
Like
at the end of the
bet it back, bet it right back, bet it right
yeah,
back.
yes. There's that one. There's that
No,
way of doing it.
no.
I think friendly wages are good. And when you
Mm,
work out with your like when you work out with your partner, and remember community support around you is okay. One thing I'll say is don't be ashamed to ask the doctor questions, and actually go
mhm,
with questions to the doc with questions to the doctor. I think this is more easier to talk about your weight than when you're talking about other diseases. I think weight is something that's easy to talk about. You say, "Hey, I want to do
mhm,
this, I want to do this, I want to do that," and then you have options. Always, you have options, and I think to me, if you take care of your weight, mind, you take care of your weight, like you, and then you exercise to whatever. Exercise is not really it helps you, it makes you feel good, the endorphins and what
it
have you.
does. It
It
does.
does help a lot, and then it calms your mind.
Right.
Those two, for me, those two, you start off with that will help you so much in your weight loss journey, and taking care of your A1C to get them to the levels. And also remember, it takes a year for everything to work out. So if you
Mhm.
start in January and you maintain that until December, when you go to the doctor and get your next checkup, like every year, go to your
Mhm.
checkup every year. When you go back to your yearly checkup, you'll find that it will make a change and there's a difference. Or maybe 6 months.
Absolutely.
Actually, talk to your doctor and see how your insurance plan is. Sometimes they'll do 6 months. The doctor will say, "Hey, I need to see you back in 6 months." And when you
Right.
see 6 months, you'll see the change. I think that gives you a better chance of seeing, okay, I'm doing something here. Let's get to the end of the year and see how much better we are.
Okay. That's all the advice we need. Look, That was good. Look, you successfully have kept the majority of your weight off. You're working on the A1C. This theme today has been A1C with me because it's more than just weight that we need to be concerned about. We definitely need to be concerned about our A1C in our community as Americans because, it hit the health is a struggle that a lot of people are dealing with. So we definitely want to share about that because it's a personal one. And, thank you for being open and game to share your personal journey. I know it wasn't easy. I am a little uncomfortable sharing, but, sometimes you just gotta, it's like reality, so.
Mm. And I think the one more thing that we hadn't talked about was we hadn't talked about the medicines. Medicines are available there; they're an option.
Mhm.
If you cannot work without the medicine, yes, your doctor will prescribe to you whatever medicine they find available, and your healthcare plan will also be able to get you
Right.
into those medicines. We won't go into them, but you know what they are. You always see them in the TV. They're actually all over. So
Right.
yeah, we'll leave it at that. But we're just
Well,
talking about the.
true, true.
Uh-huh.
So that's why the doctor piece is key to have that conversation, to get these tests to see where you are and have a conversation, ask questions, would this medicine be something that, would work for me, and ask. You know what I mean? The worst they can say, see, maybe your insurance is covered and it will work. I was recently prescribed something. I'm documenting it independently and will share at a later time because I do want to, share for the community because this is so important. But so stay tuned for that. More on that.
Oh, okay. I think I'm wishing you the best. And like I
Thank
said,
you.
mine is always progress. I'll have to keep shedding it off.
Mhm.
Sometimes I lose, sometimes I win. So it's back and forth. But at least I know where I am at and where I need to go to. Yep.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
Take
Okay, so we got through this conversation. I literally had like one little tear in the corner of my eye, but I made it without losing it. So we appreciate you guys for hanging in there with us. We hope that today's conversation has been inspiring and enlightening. If you found it meaningful, we ask you to consider sharing it with a friend. If you made it this far in the YouTube, please hit the like. We appreciate that. Subscribe. Our collective awareness and advocacy play a crucial role in creating positive change. It's all about change. And that's the thing. You definitely can turn it around. There's never too late to change. As long as you are breathing, you can make a change. So stay tuned for more engaging content, and we look forward to continuing these important conversations in the future. Next episode is already pinned, so subscribe, get the notification, and we will see you there. And so until next time,
Bye, Sambazaji.
take care. At this time, we're going to go ahead and conclude the episode. We greatly appreciate you listening. We invite you to follow us on social media. On Instagram, it is Woke by Accident Podcast. On Twitter, it is Woke by. On Facebook, it is Woke by Accident Podcast. We also have the new website up, www.wokebyaccident.net. Please check us out. And also follow us on all of your favorite streaming platforms. And please leave a review and share feedback. You can also reach out by Gmail, wokebyaccident@gmail.com. And every time you listen, we appreciate it so much. Thank you for listening and take care.